this soda, no I won't act. Louis Satchel backpack, I got big racks. I don't fuck with none of these niggas, it's a mismatch. He keep blowing up my phone, he want his bitch back. I got mud in this soda, no I won't act. Louis Satchel backpack, I got big racks. I don't fuck with none of these niggas, it's a mismatch. He keep blowing up my phone, he want his bitch back. AC blowing in my Benz, Gucci on my lens. Passenger, one of the baddest every day at 10. I take her mouth and have her way and let her go and spin. I'm double cupping, contemplating, should I stay or sin? Niggas starve, I grab a plate and I won't let them in. I go to war behind my actions, it's the state I'm in. And I'ma answer every challenge, I don't skate, I win. I hit a lick and try to bubble, Hennessy and blend. And I'm a shark about the water, people see the fins. Don't be playing with my mental, fucking with my zen. Keep it gangsta, stand on business, girl, I'm not your man. Keep it private with our dealings, don't discuss our plans. Tryna put you on to something, let you touch some bands. Niggas know I'm activated, so they play like friends. Ain't had too many bummy moments, so I know who care. Been reminiscing, Mama Brown told me never swear. I got mud in this soda, no I won't act. Louis
What's the good old big deal with the good old people, man? It's your boy Young Ant Hefe. Don't care about number what the check say. Make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe, because it don't cost you nothing. Press that button, and if you ring that notification bell, I'm gonna bring you mail. What's the good old big deal with the good old people? What's hot topics with your boy Young Ant Hefe? And I'm here to deliver you another one like the other one. What's the good old big deal with my good old people? We back off into these hot topics, and we're going to be kicking off with Diddy again. Yes, Diddy is the recipient of my hot topics this morning. He the first topic kicking off. You know what I'm saying? Whether you eating them donuts, whether you got coffee. We on Diddy Top, we on Diddy Line. It's a lot going on. There's a lot being said. So, as this trial unfolds, you know, every day we find out new information. You know what I'm saying? New information is dropping pertaining to what's taking place in this courtroom, pertaining as far as information, what's being said. You know, reporters are coming out, you know, and they're reporting live. Being that this is a federal case, we know that no cameras are allowed in that courtroom, but reporters are in there and they can come out and give you the opinion and give you the facts on which things were said and in which they think. So I guess before this case geared all the way up, Puffy, you know, he got a legal team together. You know, this big money. This is not one lawyer team. People like him, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars. You know, these billionaire type, tycoon type people, they got lawyer teams. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have 4, 5, 6 lawyers, you know what I'm saying, of the best. You know what I'm saying? Akram, high paid, you know what I'm saying? So, amongst the group, Diddy had this one lawyer, you know what I'm saying, that was a black lawyer. And as of right now, I can't think of what's his name, but you're going to be privy to the name and all the information that I'm speaking on and talking about once I start playing these clips and audio. However, this lawyer, you know what I'm saying, has a tremendous resume, you know, as far as cases he fought, cases he won, the ratio on which he won, how long he been practicing law, and things like that. So lawyers are people that rarely turn down cases unless it's really a conflict of interest with them and the client, or unless it's probably something like, let's say if I hire a lawyer, but this lawyer have a long standing with the people I'm going against or I'm fighting against, family, or this client as well too, you know what I'm saying, in the past or something like that. So it's a lot of ways that a conflict of interest could evolve, you know what I'm saying? If you don't want to go with your lawyer's strategy, you know what I'm saying, you fighting, you know what I'm saying, you want to be the lawyer, oh, I think it should be done like this, and being that it's your money being paid, he will have to follow that. But it takes a certain type of person and lawyer to keep their integrity and to turn money down or to turn away from a case. So in this situation, we trying to divvy in and dig in and find out what's going on. Why did this lawyer bag away from Diddy case? Now it's a lot of assumptions. People were saying Cassie, things like that. Maybe he was uncomfortable. Maybe it's something he's seen. Maybe he know somewhere down along a line in the case is something he don't agree with, and or something he do not want to be pressed and or left out to try to defend. And to where other lawyers like, it is what it is. But some lawyers gonna keep their integrity. They want to keep that winning ratio, and they want to just, this might be too much. This might be too much. All that's unfolding in this case is like, it's crazy. Like, you can look at it a lot of different angles pertaining to how you view life and view the things that are going on, because a lot of these lawyer strategy is just that, Diddy is a freak, has a high sexual drive, likes a lot of baby oil, and a lot of these people were willing participants until they wasn't willing participants. But we about to get off into this content on why this lawyer backed out and decided not to represent Diddy.
Diddy's courtroom saga just went left. One of his own lawyers just quit right there in the middle of the case after some wild audio got played in court. But here's the craziest part. This isn't the first time. One of Diddy's top lawyers already dipped before the trial even kicked off. Something about this case got even the best in the game running for the hills. In this video, we breaking down why Diddy's lawyer really walked out, what was in that audio that got everybody shook, and how this might blow up everything Diddy's been trying to hide. Let's get right into it. The shocking resignation. In a move that had everybody and their mama caught a guard, one of Diddy's high-pro defense attorneys, Anthony Rico, straight up bounced from the case just 3 months before the trial was supposed to pop off. The timing couldn't be more sus, with Diddy facing some heavy charges, including sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. If the music mogul catches an L on this one, he could be looking at spending the rest of his life behind bars. But before we dive into the 411 on Rico's wild exit, let's break down who this Anthony Rico cat is and why him dipping out is such a big deal. Anthony Rico ain't your average ambulance chaser. This dude is a straight up legal beast with a resume that would make most attorneys green with envy. Rico has worked on cases related to the World Trade Center bombing conspiracy and the 1998 embassy bombings. His bio on the Fordham Law University website shows he's been handling his business, noting that he served as lead defense counsel in up to 45 federal death penalty cases. On top of his courtroom grind, Rico also teaches at Fordham and has been practicing law since way back in 1982. With his deep experience in high-stakes federal cases, Rico was like the secret weapon in Diddy's defense squad. He linked up with the team shortly after Diddy got locked up in September 2024, rolling in alongside another heavyweight attorney, Alexandra Shapiro. Shapiro had previously represented Sam Bankman-Fried, who, funny enough, was Diddy's neighbor in the detention center. These additions made Diddy's already stacked team, led by Mark Agnifilo and Tenny Garagos, even more formidable. But then, on February 21st, 2025, just a few months before Diddy was supposed to have his day in court in May, Rico dropped a bombshell and led a motion to bounce from the case. The way he worded it was mad cryptic but straight alarming. Check what he wrote.
For the reasons set forth below, this motion for withdrawals is filed so that Sean Combs may move forward with his defense and to commence jury selection and trial without any delay.
While the exact reason for Rico's exit is still on the low due to attorney-client privilege, the timing of his resignation and the way he worded his statement got everyone's imagination running wild. Some legal heads suggested there might have been beef about defense strategy, while others wondered if some new evidence had popped up that created an ethical no-no for Rico. Former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani broke it down in an interview with Law and Crime.
It is significant, and it's tough to know the reason why. It could be any number of possibilities. Sometimes it's when the lawyer hasn't been paid, but we know obviously Diddy doesn't have that problem. He's got plenty of money. It could be a disagreement regarding defense strategy. It could be a conflict. It could be a health issue. It really could be anything, and the paperwork doesn't identify it, nor should it.
What makes this whole situation even more confusing is that Rico seemed to be all in on Diddy's defense right up until he bounced. People who were in the courtroom said Rico would be kicking it with Diddy, passing notes during hearings, and even giving the music mogul hugs. He regularly made sure the judge knew that Diddy's fam had had traveled mad far to New York for his hearings, which suggested he was personally invested in the case. When asked about what might have caused Rico to dip, Rahmani ordered several possibilities.
Potentially, it could be a conflict with the client, right? A disagreement. They just don't get along. The communication is poor. They got a conflict with one of the other lawyers. Obviously, it seems like Agnifilo is the lead on this case, although Rico was certainly his 1B.
He also threw out another interesting possibility.
And then it could be a conflict with one of the victims themselves. Maybe maybe Rico consulted with them or even represented them in such a way that he has to get off the case.
Even with Rico, God was still deep, with 5 attorneys still holding him down: Mark Agnifilo, Tenny Garagos, Alexandra Shapiro, Jason A. Driscoll, and Anna Esteval. According to Rico's paperwork, his exit wouldn't delay the case. And the government...
What's the good old deal? So, y'all see what's going on. Now, this other lawyer I was talking about, the black guy name is Rico. So, although I went and tried to comb through this content before I brought it here forth to you guys, some more information I just processed and became aware of while watching this segment is that this is not the first lawyer. So this is the second lawyer to quit. Now, I guess a lawyer just quitted yesterday or the day before yesterday pertaining to some audio that got played in court. Now, one thing about these court proceedings, and when you're going up against the United States, and I'm pretty sure going up against any court, all the information you're not going to be privy to. They're going to give you a certain percentage or however much percentage they're supposed to give you of the case for you to fight and go back and forth, to have some knowledge to try to come up with a defense mechanism for your client. They always keep a cat in the bag or ace in the hole. And that will be evidence that you're not privy to. That will be the evidence that they just come out and hit you with wham, bam. And you like, hold on, I ain't even have time to defend this. What's going on? And you trying to get some time from the judge. And sometimes the judge may admit it, and sometimes the judge may have not, because the judge is privy of this evidence. The prosecutor may have went to the judge like, hey, I got this evidence, and you know this evidence is real. You know what I'm saying? Tarnishing, and this evidence should not be in the defense hand until I lay it out in court in front of them. And the judge do go with some of these practices, you know what I'm saying? So it definitely be situations where you won't even know. You would think you got everything and your lawyer have a defense set, and then bam, they come out with something else. So whatever was in this audio and whatever was played, this lawyer wasn't feeling it till this lawyer has, which made this lawyer get up out of there like, oh no, I ain't feeling this, and I don't want my reputation and my name on this any longer. So now they're saying and bringing up this Rico lawyer, you know what I'm saying, who was a black lawyer, and like I said, who has an impeccable record, you know what I'm saying, and winning death penalty cases in the feds and all type of stuff. He backed out. And he did give a reason why he backed out, but to a degree, you got to kind of understand legal terms. You know what I'm saying, based on the attorney and client privileges, he really didn't go too much in detail, but probably just left it like it's a conflict of interest of some sort. But with that being said, we about to get back into the rest of this content. Y'all know it's the halfway and the half effect. We gonna commentate. Okay, so what we can draw and conclude is that since Diddy case has been going on, and since he's been in custody, 2 of his lawyers have chose to resign from the case. So obviously, whatever was agreed upon to be paid will be coming back, probably minus the months they've been on the case helping, giving legal advice. Now, this one lawyer that's speaking, that's supposed to be Jay-Z's Rock Nation lawyer, he decided and had turned Diddy down as well when Diddy reached out to him to try to hire him to do some work. He didn't want nothing to do with the case. He really didn't go into detail, but what he did say is that the case come down to, as far as what he think, what was consensual, what was not consensual. With that being said, it's a wobbler. This can go any way. Seesaw. Whichever side has the more momentum. On top of that, what I'm not understanding is this lawyer decided not to represent Diddy, right? But this lawyer is doing content on Diddy. Sitting down, talking about Diddy. Oh, I think this. Oh, I think that. And I'm pretty sure he's getting paid to give his legal advice pertaining to Diddy and speaking about Diddy.
While everybody was busy speculating about why Anthony Rico suddenly dipped from Diddy's defense team, rumors started spreading like wildre about some connection between his exit and an audio recording supposedly played in court. The most damning audiovisual evidence in the case, that 2016 surveillance video showing Combs laying hands on his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a Los Angeles hotel, wasn't even played in court until May 2025, months after Rico had already dipped. This video, which included audio of Cassie calling security, reportedly had the whole courtroom silent when it finale got shown during the trial. But this presentation happened long after Rico had already said, "Peace out." Rico joined Diddy's defense squad in September 2024, shortly after Diddy got locked up on federal charges. For about 5 months, he was grinding alongside other attorneys to prepare for the upcoming trial. During this time, several major developments went down in the case, including pre-trial hearings and talks about evidence. On October 10th, 2024, Judge Arun Subramanian set May 5th, 2025 as the trial date and addressed concerns about leaks by federal agents. Later, on December 18th, 2024, there was a quick hearing where prosecutors discussed evidence disclosure, but nobody mentioned any audio evidence. Then, on February 3rd, 2025, Diddy was supposed to show up in court, but the hearing got pushed back because he reportedly had to go to the hospital. Just a few weeks later, on February 21st, 2025, Rico led his motion to dip. The timing is interesting because it came shortly after Diddy's defense team had led that motion to toss the Mann Act charge, claiming racial bias. Some legal heads wondered if there might have been beef within the defense team about this strategy. Legal expert Joe Tacopina, who turned down the chance to represent Diddy himself, shared his thoughts on the case.
You know, look, I didn't turn him down because I don't like him or I don't believe in his case. I think he's got a very defensible case.
He broke down what he sees as the main issue.
To me, this whole case boils down to an issue of consent, right? And as far as I know, I don't know all the evidence, but it's an issue of consent, right? Did they consent or did they not? I mean, was a gun put to someone's head, or did they want to do it because they were getting all the perks associated with being part of a Diddy party and being one of Diddy's entourage, right? Did he buy him a house or cars and stuff? He didn't have to buy anyone a car or a house.
Tacopina's comments highlight what would become the central strategy of Diddy's defense squad, arguing that everything was consensual and that accusers might be trying to secure the bag. This seems to be the approach that Diddy's remaining attorneys ran with during the trial that started in May 2025. When asked why he passed on the case, Tacopina blamed scheduling conics rather than doubts about Diddy's innocence.
So my turning it down was because I had Rocky's trial coming up. And a host of other things. So it's not about, I don't think he's innocent or I don't like him or anything like that. It's not that at all. It was just timing for me. It really was more about timing than anything.
Interestingly, Tacopina also addressed rumors that his relationship with Jay-Z and Roc Nation influenced his decision not to take the case.
Yeah, but that got taken way out of it. I do have a great relationship with Jay and Roc Nation. I represent a lot of them. I think that was, first of all, I know of no personal issue between Jay and Diddy. I have no personal knowledge of that. So someone, I think it was on the Breakfast Club, sort of extrapolated that, but that would have nothing to do with it. No one at Roc Nation ever told me not to represent him. So that I think was misconstrued and I'd probably taken out of context.
While Tacopina's decision not to rep Diddy seems straightforward, the reasons behind Rico's exit remain much more mysterious. What we do know is that before he bounced, Rico had talked with lead counsel Mark Agnifilo, suggesting there was at least some coordination or discussion within the defense team about his departure. Without conrommed info about what made Rico bounce, several theories have popped up. One possibility is that there might have been ethical concerns or disagreements about defense strategies. Another theory suggests that the high-pro nature of the case, combined with all those civil lawsuits and crazy media attention, may have created headaches for the defense team. Some people have speculated that Rico might have reviewed evidence, including potential audio or video, that raised red flags, but this would have happened outside of public court proceedings and remains purely speculation. What about other audio evidence that might have been relevant to the case? There was a rumored audio leak involving Diddy and Meek Mill that surfaced in 2023 2023, but this got debunked as a fake joke and unrelated to the legal proceedings. No legit reports confirm any authentic case-relevant audio being played in court or disclosed to the defense team before February 21st, 2025. What we do know is that Rico's resignation had social media buzzing, with posts on X and Reddit describing it as dramatic and mysterious. Some people thought new evidence or internal beef prompted the move, but no varied reports confirmed these theories. The lack of details only fueled public curiosity, especially given how big this case is. As the case moved toward trial without Rico, Diddy's legal troubles kept piling up. He faced multiple civil lawsuits alleging sexual assault and abuse, which he dismissed as people trying to secure the bag. The trial, expected to last 8-10 weeks, has attracted celebrities, journalists, and rubberneckers, creating a wild courtroom atmosphere at times. By May 2,
because a lawyer of his attitude, I know it's not just sitting down discussing Diddy and not getting paid for it, going on camera discussing hours and hours of Diddy. Oh, I think this is going to happen. Oh, it's going to be this strategy. Oh, I had to back because of this. And that just show you, man, like, this game a cold game. And it's just like, I don't know if you can. I'm not that far ahead in legal or on legal terms, which that is something I should get into and make privy to myself. But if Diddy is privy to this man talking, I would like send a cease and desist letter for you to, like, man, keep my name out your mouth pertaining to this case. Although it is a free country and you can say what you want to say as far as wills and things like that, but it's like, bro, I try to get you on the team. You didn't even want to be on the team, but you would sit here and speak of me for hours and hours and give people insight on what may happen and may not happen and why you backed out. So basically, a lot of people was drawing conclusions since Diddy been locked up. Him and Jay-Z supposed to have some type of beef and not getting along, and that Jay-Z reached out to his lawyer for Roc Nation and told him, do not represent Diddy. So this lawyer was like, that's not even a fact. Jay ain't never said nothing like that. The reason why I didn't want to represent him is because of this. I felt it come down to this or come down to that. And like I said, some people don't want their name on certain things. Some people got wives, got family members that's watching Diddy and feel disgusted with Diddy and probably would question his integrity. Like, why would you be representing this person and that? And all this stuff is being alleged. And then they coming out with these audios and all type of stuff. So, man, it's just crazy work and a crazy game. Something else I want to point out and say is the Meek Mill thing. So you see they had a clip of Meek Mill and they talking about Meek Mill, and it was just funny because yesterday I was having a conversation with my niece, and, you know, we was just laughing, and, you know, people speaking about the Diddy thing and this, that, and my niece came out like, yeah, because they showing all type of stuff. They talking about Meek Mill in the pool and talking about he bending over to my, whoa, like something hurt, and Diddy was like, you took it like a champ. Man, this is like all type of crazy stuff going on since this trial has been unfolded. But y'all getting to hear from legal experts and lawyers and stuff like that. We just giving our opinion and we just reacting to it. So let's get into the rest of this content. And y'all already know it's the Halfway to Half Effect. We're going to commentate.
The defense strategy appeared to argue that Diddy's actions reacted a consensual swinger lifestyle, not criminal behavior, while prosecutors emphasized a pattern of coercion and violence. This aligns with the approach that Tacopina had suggested earlier, focusing on consent as the main issue in the case. As the RST day of testimony went down on May 12, 2025, the prosecution brought out their star witness, a former security guard who had responded to the incident caught on surveillance video in 2016. According to his testimony,
Phillips also testified that he witnessed Combs assault Cassie in their home and that he feared for his own life but eventually befriended Cassie. Now, the person to testify before him was the hotel security guard who responded to the incident caught on surveillance video in that Los Angeles hotel back in 2016 when Diddy was caught on video assaulting Cassie. And he testified that Diddy threw a sack of money at him in their hotel room afterwards to keep quiet.
This test case, even without Rico in the picture. The video, which leaked in May 2024, shows Diddy putting hands on Cassie Ventura in a hotel hallway, an incident that he later publicly apologized for. The judge allowed the video as evidence, saying there was no unfair prejudice to Mr. Combs, despite the defense team trying to block it by claiming CNN had manipulated the footage. As the trial continues to unfold, Anthony Rico's absence from the defense team remains a significant subplot in this high-profile case. Whether his exit was related to audio evidence, ethical concerns, strategic disagreements, or something else entirely, it marks a major moment in the legal proceedings against one of the music industry's biggest ballers. The trial unfolds in implications. As Sean Diddy Combs' federal trial popped off in May 2025, Anthony Rico's absence from the defense squad was just one of many dramatic elements in what's become one of the most high-pro legal beefs in the entertainment world. The trial, going down at the Daniel Patrick Moynihan Courthouse in Lower Manhattan, has attracted mad media attention and public interest, with the proceedings expected to run for about 8 weeks. Every development has been analyzed by legal experts and the public alike. The jury selection process, which started on May 5th, 2025, was thorough and complex. Potential jurors had to fill out detailed questionnaires about their knowledge of the case, media exposure, personal experiences with sexual assault or domestic violence, views on law enforcement, opinions on hip-hop artists, and attitudes towards sex, drugs, violence, and multiple sexual partners.
Get hundreds of prisoners to work around the clock for you, continuously generating wealth. No problem. Just give them beds, food.
This deep vetting was necessary given how famous the case is and the sensitive allegations involved. By May 12, 2025, a jury consisting of 12 main jurors and 6 alternates had been locked in, 12 men and 6 women. The trial could then move forward with opening statements and the RST witnesses. The defense team, now led by Mark Agnello and including attorneys Tenny Giragos, Brian Steele, and others, adopted a strategy focusing on consent as the main issue. As Joe Tacopina had suggested earlier, the defense tried to portray the alleged victims as willing participants who benefited from their association with Diddy. Fox 5 reporter Michelle Ross, covering the trial's RST day, described some of the wild testimony presented.
Well, the latest witness to take the stand today is a man named Daniel Phillips, and he was a male strip show manager. He would manage male strippers who would perform for things like bachelorette parties. But he said that he was paid to have sex with Cassie Ventura back in 2013 in a New York City hotel while Sean Diddy Combs allegedly sat in the corner, watched, and masturbated.
The testimony continued with increasingly graphic details.
This morning, his family entered the courthouse while leaving a black van. This includes his children, his sons, and also his twin daughters. His family has heard graphic allegations of the alleged sexual encounters, and his daughters walked out during that testimony.
These details align with what prosecutors have called freak-offs, encounters that the prosecution claims involve coercion and exploitation, while the defense maintains they were consensual adult activities. The prosecution's case has heavily relied on the testimony of people like Phillips and Israel Flores, a former security guard at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles who responded to the 2016 incident caught on surveillance video. According to Ross,
Phillips, the second witness of the day, said he was told by his boss that he was going to perform at a bachelorette party at the Gramercy Park Hotel, but when he arrived, he saw Cassie in red lingerie and a red wig. He testified she said that they would rub baby oil on each other and would see where things would go from there while her husband was there. Combs was allegedly in a corner in a white robe concealing his face with a bandana.
Former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani, commenting on the trial, noted the importance of the video evidence in the prosecution's case.
It's going to be interesting because, again, you have someone who is going to be very sympathetic. She's a pregnant woman. She is a victim, admittedly, at least of physical violence. The defense is going to argue that she was not sexually assaulted. But I think you have to be careful because if you're very aggressive, and obviously you want to do a good job for your client, if you're a defense lawyer, you can really turn off the jurors.
This highlights a major challenge for the defense, how to actively cross-examine witnesses, especially Cassie Ventura, who was pregnant, without making the jury side-eye them. Rahmani broke down this delicate balance.
I think they're going to talk about some of the things that came up in opening statement, right? The jealousy, the fact that she stayed in this relationship for more than a decade. I mean, these are all the questions that the jurors are going to have. That's why the prosecution is going to try to bring in an expert witness that's going to talk about the psychology of an abuse victim, you know, why someone might stay in a relationship, even though they're being physically and sexually abused.
The main question in this trial revolves around force, fraud, or coercion, elements needed to prove sex trafficking. Rahmani explained.
And, you know, everyone's talking about the baby oil, and it came up during Garagos' opening statement. She said there's nothing illegal about, you know, having a lot of baby oil. But baby oil is important to the allegations in the case because you saw Philip come and testify that Combs wanted Cassie covered in baby oil when he was filming them having sex.
Now, obvious, whatever this audio was, this audio had to be something very disturbing because as far as the rest of the case, we pretty much know what's going on as far as him beating Cassie up, stomping on her, dragging her down the hotel hallway and stuff like that. When we first learned about this case and this case began to develop, this is one of the first things that came out, you know, and him trying to give hush-hush money for the hotels to be quiet. That's why it never came back out all those years ago. whatever. Cassie, you know what I'm saying, she was subjected to the abuse, sucked it up like a sponge, and continued to deal with the domestic violence and domestic disputes that came in the freak offs with being with P. Diddy. Now, a lot of other things are starting to like just, man, like make sense now. So it's like Diddy was just like, he's a freak and he's curvy. And it seemed like he was trying to make porn in 3D. Instead of watching porn, he wanted to enact porn right in 3D, right there on the spot. Because like, just like, I just don't understand the narrative of you sitting in a room with another man watching him bang somebody and you just right there jacking off and you receiving yourself and you allowing yourself to receive satisfaction. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like oxymoron, you know what I'm saying, versus you watching, just pouring from your phone or on the TV and you getting your money, you know what I'm saying? Now that seems like more logical and sensible, but this dude, he got the type of money and power to where he could make out a porn scene and make this come to him, and it seemed like that's just what he was, and he liked it watching people have sex with Cassie, because this was just, you know, a devilish game that he was enticed in and what he was with, you know what I'm saying? I don't really think that he portrayed in or looked at Cassie as a mother of his child or someone he will marry, because, or I don't know, you know what I'm saying? You just got to ask the question, was anybody he was married to or, you know, that he was holding down as far as a partner, like a lifetime partner, was they subjected freak offs or was they doing stuff like that? And, you know, I don't, RIP to his baby mother, Kim Porter. She's rested. That's like really the only person you can ask besides J-Lo, unless it's any other people that we know that been in a relationship with Puff Daddy that can answer these questions. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you know, a lot of lawyers threw their hands up with it, didn't want to represent it from the get-go for whatever reason. And now the audio coming out, these other lawyers that he already have, they started to take a backseat and starting to get out the way. So I'm pretty sure he's looking for more legal counsel, or he just gonna rock out, you know what I'm saying, with his cock out with what he got. But yeah, man, this is a whole mess, man, and it's an ugly game, and it just makes you want to run for the hills. And I know he's triggering once he's watching his lawyers just like, man, I'm out of here, I'm done with this. And definitely if some evidence come out of your lawyer, just be like, oh yeah, I'm done with this, you know, because I guess, you know, these lawyers he's dealing with, it's big money, and I guess, you know, they standing on integrity. But, you know, we're going to continue, you know what I'm saying, to divvy off into this trial and see what's to come next. And I'm going to conclude this there. It's your boy, Young and Hefe. Don't care about number what the check say. Make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe, because it don't cost you nothing. And press that button. And if you ring that notification bell, I'm going to bring you mail.
How you keep getting out of jail, nigga?